Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Coach Sherri, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Today is day 23 of 60. I am doing the Go Live Every Day for 60 Days challenge. And if you didn't catch my live yesterday, I showed some analytics of how impactful this challenge has been for my channel. And if you are a small content creator, small YouTuber, I think that this is a challenge that you should look into incorporating. I know after the 60 days, I am going to do this at least once a quarter for a month. I'll do once a quarter for 30 days because I really think this is a good way to jumpstart your channel, continue your channel's progression, and just, put yourself out there and in the algorithm so that more people can find you and connect with you. So, as you can see from the title, today I'm going to talk about social capital and social proof. So, the interesting thing about Google and YouTube is that whenever you talk about something or even sometimes think about something, different topics or videos or content will get suggested for you. And I always find that to be so remarkable. And so today, this morning, after my live last night, I noticed that I had a lot of suggested videos on you know, growing your small YouTube channel and different tips and strategies and things of that nature. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting because I was just talking about that last night. I see Emotion New Soul is in the building. Welcome in. How are you this evening? I hope you're doing well. How are things going? And as you come in, let me know what state are you coming in from or what country. If you noticed yesterday on my live, I was talking about my data analytics, and one of the things it shows is where people are tuning in from. And I am really pleased to see that people from all over the world literally are tuning into this channel. They're finding the content and finding it valuable to stay on. So I really love it. Okay, I'm doing really good. Welcome in from Tennessee. I see you're in Tennessee. All right, that's not too far. I'm in North Carolina. So, we're kind of on that Appalachian mountain range area. Although Charlotte, where I'm at, is not on that. But, definitely like Asheville and things of that nature. I don't know if you're on the Appalachian Trail or not in Tennessee, but I know they do have the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. So, Tennessee, I hear, is a beautiful state. I've never been to Tennessee, believe it or not. I've been to many states, but Tennessee has not been one of them. I need to go there one day. But today I wanted to talk about social capital and social proof. So I deal with social capital every single day because that's part of what I do. When you talk about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, social capital is so important. And really, it's a more interesting way to say networking. And it's actually more than networking because networking, you're kind of meeting people and it's an exchange of things, business to business, B2B. Oh, good. Hey, Slasher Chick. B2B, or it could be, just meeting new people. You may have entered into a new community, arena, or what have you. But social capital goes a little deeper than that. And I love looking into ways of increasing social capital for others because social capital is one of the reasons why college students sometimes will graduate and not be able to get a job in their program of study. You know, maybe in college they had to babysit or wait tables or do some type of job that was not related to their degree. And so when they come out, it's really challenging for them to secure a career in what they went to school for. And that's because of their lack of social capital. Now, they say too, in terms of intergenerational mobility and economic mobility, that the number one cause of the lack of mobility for some communities and some, groups, cultures, is because of their lack of social capital. That means they don't have access to people. They don't have the network in terms of references, referrals, connectors, people connecting them to opportunities, people to introduce them to different areas and giving them that shot, that chance, people that can vouch for them. And so it's really important to increase your social capital. And in many cases, you may say, wow, that's really hard. I mean, where do you start? And you start with, going onto platforms like a YouTube, going onto platforms, especially like a LinkedIn, and literally connecting with people, but not just connecting with them, starting conversations and seeing who they are and how you're all connected and what you have in common. And maybe even, especially if it's on LinkedIn, do what I call an exploration interview. An exploration interview is when you would contact someone because you're interested in the work that they do. It may be work that you would love to go into in the future. Maybe it's work that's aligned with your education, your skills, your talents, your experience. And you request a meeting with them. And in the meeting, you would have a lineup of questions that you will ask them regarding how they got started, what was their career journey like, and for their recommendations in terms of what would you need to do to propel yourself further. Now, my youngest daughter is graduating from college next month, and she had some great opportunities come her way. She had two amazing internships over the summer, last summer and the summer before last in Manhattan, and did very well with those. She had some great job offers on the table, but she went on LinkedIn and found a company that she had applied to and found the recruiter there. She reached out to the recruiter, and the recruiter met with her. She asked for an exploration conversation. He gave her 30 minutes, and after that, set her up for an interview, and that's where she secured her job for after graduation. And, a lot of times it is just that simple. Sometimes companies want to see what type of initiative you would take, and if you do that, then that's a good thing. I see Alpha Jenkins, King Salute is in the building. Thank you for your support. Salute to you, sir. Thank you. Yes, slasher chick. But let me tell you another way that this organization called Alt Finance is increasing the social capital for students that attend HBCUs. And this is one of the most dynamic experiences that I've ever heard of for a college student. It's something that I'm trying to implement in my area just for, the local government, but it's going to require a lot of funding because let me tell you what this is about. So, this organization has taken 40 HBCU students from different schools, and they have they have to apply for it. So the students have to apply to get into this organization. And this organization is comprised of professionals in the finance the finance career path. They're in different areas of finance all over the country. And they, when they select the students that they're going to take, they provide them with a scholarship as well as a stipend every semester that, once they are enrolled in it. They have a 90-minute session once a week where they're talking about things that are going on in the finance world, doing think tank sessions, having mentors, coaches, just really grooming them and preparing them for careers in finance. And twice a semester, they fly the students out. Some of them, it might be local for them, but most are flown out to major cities around the country, and they expose them to finance, to the lifestyle, to the career, to the cities that they're at. So, for instance, when they went to Philadelphia, they went to a hockey game. They, go to the trade floor. They have professionals in that area come to speak with them. They do workshops. When they went to LA, they went to a Lakers game, sat in the owner's box, met the owner of the Lakers. They went and played golf in other areas, just really exposing them to lifestyle from the top to the bottom. And because of that, they increase their social capital. The students are communicating and gathering together from all of those different HBCUs. So, right there, just within their own circle, their circle has increased. They have the mentors that are available to them, not just their mentors, but all the mentors that are involved with the organization. They have a coach that helps them secure internships and permanent positions, and they just really help them polish themselves with their resumes, interview skills, and just introducing them to everyone that is someone in that particular industry. And when I tell you that increase is so remarkable, and it's something that's going to serve them well in their careers, in their professional life forever, literally forever. Um, it is an awesome program. It's called ALT Finance, and they do have a website. I mean, just check it out. I want to say it's probably about a $9 million project because of all the money and funding that they use for the students. Again, they provide them with a stipend, a substantial stipend every semester, as well as a scholarship. And so they just had their last event in DC this past weekend, and for the seniors that are graduating next month, they actually rented out the African American Museum in DC that evening and had a banquet event for them. And they presented them with luggage that were monogrammed, which I thought was so dope. It's letting them know that um, this is you're going to be traveling in your career, and I just thought that was so cool. So it is fun. The funding, who did you say is funding it? So the name of the organization is ALT Finance. I'm not sure exactly who is the funders behind it. I'm not sure how they raise money or anything like that, but they do have, seven figures. So they're doing a good thing. Yes, they know that you're going places. Yes. So that is social capital. I've designed a program to increase social capital for college students who are in their latter part their their program of study, and or recent graduates, and they have these opportunities that are in their programs of study, in careers for 6 months. So it's more than a summer internship or just a few weeks of an internship. It's a 6 month robust internship where they are getting that real hands-on experience in their field of study that they wouldn't have gotten, any other with any other opportunity. And I just think that that's so important. There was a report, it's called the Chetty Report, where a group of a group from Harvard and UC Berkeley got together and they did a research on 50 major cities, urban cities in the world, in the country rather. And they researched their transportation, education, access to careers, housing, and unfortunately, when they did this report, Charlotte ranked 50 out of 50, saying that a person born in poverty in Charlotte had a greater chance of remaining in poverty, which is not good for it to be a very thriving city, ranked number 15 in terms of growth. I see TW Popcorn. What's popping with you? What is going on? How you doing? Thanks for being here. That popcorn looks good. And so, with that report, it was important for the city and the county to make some changes. Like, wait, what's going on? And, they did some things with like apprenticeships and internships and just trying to be more community based and focused. And, the numbers changed a little bit for individuals, not necessarily for families, but with intergenerational mobility, that goes into what is the father in the household doing? And if the father in the household is not doing well, 9 times out of 10, the child or the children aren't going to do well. So that's really, really important when we talk about economic development. What is the father? How are they gainfully employed? And that's why any type of training that I do, I always, especially when it's essential skills, financial literacy, or anything like that, the participants, I always say, don't just keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with your family, your friends, your circle, so everybody can get better. That is so important that I know it. I know it, slasher chick. They will last on the list, 50th. It's so important that when people are elevating and evolving professionally, especially and personally, that they go home and implement those same things. So, a lot of the things with essential skills, things that I may train them on would be personal branding, effective communication, workplace ethics, how to handle feedback, active listening, code switching, this different things that you can talk to your children about this around the dinner table or just outside or driving them home from practice. This is great conversation starters. It's good things to say to them if you are lost to what you need to tell them. Tell them about these new things that you are learning. I know I've done this type of training even for young people. It was kind of like orientation to an apprenticeship. And I remember one young lady, and she just finished high school, and she said, "You know what? I went home, and my mother and we always argue. We don't know how to talk to each other." But I was sharing with her some of the strategies that I learned in this class, and she wants to take this class now. And that class absolutely would have been for her mother too. It's all ages because none of us have arrived. We all can improve for sure. So social capital is really important. If you are in a position to bring somebody up, and I think we all are, bring your pull somebody up with you, help them increase their social capital. How can you help them? Who can you introduce them to? What can you expose them to, make them aware of, so that they can be better prepared? Unfortunately, so many of our young people are not. And I see young people getting into college and they're so excited and they think that's it. All they have to do is get to college, finish college, and they will have arrived and do something that's going to change the game for their family. But then they look around and they're not getting those knocks on the door. They haven't done anything to make themselves stand out. They have not utilized the resources that were available and still are available for them on their campus. So they end up coming home and working hourly wage jobs, and that's not necessary if they have more social capital. So please, I'm just asking everyone out there to do something in your community around social capital. So now we're looking at social proof. Now, again, last night during my live, I talked about my data analytics and went over some of my numbers and just looking at the growth of my channel over these 23 days, which has to me has been amazing. So a lot of the data was about last week, actually. I mean, I did do a search for April, but it also broke it down to how I had grown in my activity for last week. So this morning, I had a video suggestion from vidIQ. And if you don't know vidIQ and you are a content creator, I highly recommend vidIQ because they share a lot of good information regarding YouTube and how to grow as a YouTuber, providing you with information on changes that may be occurring and just how you can better position yourself. So this particular video was about I can't remember what it was about, but I do know I heard the word social proof. And that word really resonated with me because I am so invested in social capital and the increase of social capital. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, yes, I will be Sweet 16 here on YouTube in June coming up. And I recognized probably about 4 or 5 years ago, probably about 5 years ago, that it's really challenging to just grow your channel organically on YouTube. And when I say organically, I don't mean, you know, well, let's say this. When I say organically, I mean you just sit and pray that people will come. And I call that, in recruitment, I call that post and pray. A lot of businesses, when they are posting positions, they think people are just going to come. And so they just pray that, oh, please let them come and apply to this position. I pray that the right person applies to this position. Well, we all know that's not how it works anymore. If you are a business, and this is sidebar and a nugget message, if you are a business and you have opportunities, if you have, really good positions and you're trying to hire for them, you can no longer just post and pray. You need to reach out to your community partners, your stakeholders, and let them know what those positions are, what they entail, the type of candidate you're looking for. So those external organizations that may have clients, or they may have students, or they just do community outreach, they can consider people that they work with for those opportunities and encourage them to apply. Because they know so much about what you have to offer, they are able to effectively communicate that to their target audience. And that is how you get the right people every time for your positions. Well, I recognize that with YouTube. Yes, if you post it, they will come. So that's when I recognized that on YouTube, I was like, wait, you know what? I need to use some outside strategies here on YouTube. And outside strategies are things that I do in real life, in the real world. When I want to be more aware, when I want to increase my social capital, when I need to, put some messages out about my business or about what I do, my consulting, anything like that, I go out to events and I meet people. And my elevator pitch is not an elevator pitch. It's a marketing tool that I use. And in that, I let them know what I'm looking for in the next 30, 60, 90 days, who I am, what I offer, my benefits, my outcomes that I provide for people. And with that, ultimately, either they need to use my service or someone they know will need it. And we exchange business cards and the beat goes on. And so I said, you know what? I need to use some networking strategies on YouTube so that I can increase my social capital as well as increase my tribe. Because as I'm posting, I'm praying that people will come and they're not. So let me go and meet some folks. And so I started going, finding content creators. And that's the thing about attraction marketing, and especially with AI. AI can read your words, or they can understand your words as you speak them. But I don't know how, but sometimes I think they can also read your thoughts. So when you're thinking about something, again, inevitably it'll pop up. And you're like, wait, I didn't even say that. I didn't even write it down. How did they know that that's what I want? So at any rate, because I had determined that I was going to do networking on YouTube, be more intentional with, you know, where I'm hanging out, then when I thought that, all of a sudden content that really interested me was being suggested. And it was almost like YouTube knew, like, okay, Coach Sherri, you want to meet these people. These are going to be some good people for you. We heard you. You want to network. Okay, well, network over here. So I started networking in different groups, not the same group the whole time, but I was spreading myself, not thin, but spreading over here, over there. And I met some really amazing people. And they're like the gift that keeps on giving, because through them, I'm continuously meeting new people. And that's what networking. It's not just, how do you meet the people? Well, when they're live or even in their pre recorded videos, first of all, I always hit the like, the thumbs up, especially because usually if I'm looking at it, I like it. So that's my bookmark. So I know that if I come back to that channel and if I'm looking at other videos, if I see that the thumbs up is already colored in, that means I already looked at that video, so I can go on to the next. But I tend to look at the videos to the end. And I'm not saying I'm sitting there the whole time looking at them. I might have them playing in the background while I'm doing other things, but I'll respect a person's content and really watch their videos. And I'll comment. I sometimes comment in the beginning, sometimes at the end, and sometimes I comment throughout their video as they say things that resonate with me. And it's like a conversation. I use it as a conversation or as a text message, just like you would text someone and you are back and forth. That's kind of how I do it. But once I started doing that, it made people realize, like, okay, first of all, she's a real person and she's about her business. She's not about mess. And she's someone that I would like to be part of her tribe just as much as I would like for her to be part of mine. And that is really how I was able to build an organic audience. And that's what I mean by organic. Do you watch the Social Proof podcast show on YouTube? I don't. Hmm. I'm glad I put that up there because I'm going to check them out. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna check them out. So that's how I organically grew my channel. Now I know I've heard anyway, and actually I've gotten some emails. I've even gotten some DMs on LinkedIn, I think, a couple where people are like, "Oh, I see you have a YouTube channel. I can help you grow it so much better, quicker, whatever." What? No, I'm not I'm not interested in doing that. I don't do one and dones and I don't do fake and phony. So one and dones is when, you might grow really, really quickly because somehow you may have purchased viewership or subscribers or, something to that effect. And they all subscribe, but then they don't ever come back. I would not want a channel built on that. I also don't want fake and phony that, people, they may subscribe to your channel and it's like double dutch. They subscribe, then they unsubscribe. They subscribe, then they unsubscribe. And I'm not interested in that either. I really want organic people that really are interested in my content. And again, my content is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk. And it's more than just me sharing information. It's me showing you things as well, because to me, every day, everything you do, it can be, it could be business related. It's idea generating. And so that's why I take people on, excursions, because I'm trying to tell you, my brain, the way it works, I'm always coming up with great ideas. Slasher Chick is saying, I may not always comment because sometimes I'm watching from my TV, but I try to always remember to like the video because I care about folks' analytics. I usually don't even click if I can't watch all. Me too, same for sure. And you're right. If you are only watching from your television, then it is going to be a challenge to comment. So I definitely get that. And I'm like that too. If I can't watch the whole thing, I usually won't watch it at all. I'll put it in a playlist. And I had mentioned this yesterday that I create a playlist for each month. So all the videos that I'm interested in checking out later, I'll put in, like, I have an April 2024 playlist. I'll create a May 2024 playlist in May. And sometimes I'll keep all those videos on that playlist, just so I can maybe see as a record of, this is what I was checking out in April or in March. Or sometimes I'll just take things off because I just really want to. It's almost like fast fashion. Sometimes I just wanted to watch that real quick, but I don't really want it to be kind of like part of my tab, let's say, for that month. But yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Okay, I'm going to definitely look at that. And on my channel in the past, I've had entrepreneurs, I've had people with nonprofit organizations, startups, well established businesses on my channel and interviewing them. And I know that a lot of viewers really like that because they get the inside look of how people do things, why they do things. And I was talking to my dad earlier today. Unfortunately, you all may know that I did go to Maryland. I took him to Baltimore to see his sister in the hospital, but she passed away early this morning. And earlier today, after I found out, And I called my dad and I was like, no, he said, I know, but I'm in a meeting, so I'm gonna have to call you back. Now, mind you, my father's 85, he'll be 86 next month. So I'm thinking, and I heard people in the back talking. I'm like, what kind of meeting is he in? And later on, he called me and he was like, yeah, I told you I was doing a presentation today because I did two presentations last week at a conference that I was at in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And when I was telling my dad about them, because I started one of my presentations as I did a story. You know, storytelling is huge now, and I was telling a story about a moment in time when I, did something in his business. And so when I was telling him about it, he was at first like, "You remember that?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I remember it." But he was so inspired. He was like, "You know what? I think I could do a presentation. I'm going to an event next week and I'm going to ask them if I can present." I was like, "Okay." And so it was today where he presented and he talked about, business and how to start a business and how he got started in business. But I'm telling you, the world is a circle. I don't care what year, how old, whatever. It all comes around, goes around. Trust me, the information that my father shares is still so relevant in the business world, and people always glean nuggets from it. And I'm glad that he had that to keep him busy today so that he wouldn't have to really dwell on, the loss of his sister. But it was definitely a blessing that we went there on Saturday to see her. She was alert, relatively alert when we saw her. And it was just, I'm just so glad that without hesitation, I was like, all right, I'm taking my dad to Maryland. And we, up and went. And I'm just so glad that that happened. Yeah, that playlist idea is so dope, slasher chick. And it just you understand, you're like, oh yeah, no, I don't have time to watch that. Well, let me just throw it in my playlist and I'll get to it later. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, she's at peace. And they said her transition was beautiful. So she lived a full life. She was 89 years old and one of the most amazing women I've ever encountered in my life. I remember at the age of 10 looking at her and the way that she was my aunt, and thinking to myself at the age as early as the age of 10 that I hoped to one day grow up to be as nice as she was. And I'm still on that journey, but she was just such a nice person. Yeah, my dad don't play. He's out and about, which is a great thing. So what they were talking about was social proof, and they were talking about watch hours and how that's one of the hardest things really to get is your watch hours. So to become monetized you have to have 4,000 watch hours, and if you don't have it within a year of when you signed up with YouTube, it starts all over. And trust me, I've been so close so many times. And when you see it go back down to zero and you might be, a little over 1,000 away, that thing right there, it hurts. It it don't sit well at all. But again, I'm trying to be organic with it. I'm not trying to do bogus play. I'm a bogus video where you're just looking at lights and for hours and hours. I just really want everything to be organic. I want it to stick and hold. I don't want it to stick and slip because you just never know what YouTube might do. I know in some cases back in the day, they would go in and look at people's content, and if it wasn't anything worth the quarter, they would take away the hours for that. Just like they will take away people that they feel are not real supporters or subscribers to your channel. They'll definitely do that. So I don't play that. I'm like, no, this is gonna be brought up from the mud, and I'm gonna let it stick. Once it dries, it's gonna be seasoned, and that's gonna be my channel right there. Strong foundation. So they were talking about the social proof and how with small channels, a lot of times when people get your videos suggested, they may not stop through if it's not a lot of watchers, if the numbers are low. And I was like, man, that makes sense. It's almost like going to a restaurant that have low ratings. You don't want to eat there. What they gonna say? What they gonna feed you? Ill. And so I'm like, maybe that's what it is. So that's something that I need to figure out. And if you are a small channel too, that might be something you want to look into as well. But if you've made it that far, you can make it to 4K. Yeah, I've been trying to make it to 4K for quite a while. I want to say for the past 5 years, I've been on the road to, like, I think I can do this. I can, make this a real thing. But literally every time I'm almost close, it just drops back down to zero. They literally drop me back down to zero. And to see that, it doesn't feel good. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this challenge, to see, if this can give me that extra push that I need. And you know what? And if it doesn't, mentally, I've already prepared myself that I am going to continue to do a challenge like this every quarter, at least for 1 month every quarter, because I think that this really will help. But I just also, again, found it interesting with the social proof that, a lot of small channels, especially if they've been out there for a minute, they struggle a little bit with the watch hours, because when people see your channel or your content suggested, if it has like, 10 views or whatever, a lot of people won't necessarily click on it. So really what they were saying, if that's the case, you really have to focus and be very intentional on your title and your thumbnail. You want to be able to attract people with your title and your thumbnail. So your title needs to be something that people are literally looking for, so that it can pop up. It could pop up on searches. They said search, if your channel or your content is popping up on searches 9 times out of 10, regardless of the number of watchers, it will get looked at because that's something they were looking for. And also your thumbnail. If you have an attractive thumbnail, something that jumps out at them, something that's, calling their name, attracting them, then that also will help with your watch hours, with them watching your video. But if you have a title that doesn't really speak to anything, is not something that is of interest, then it's not going to be viewed. If your thumbnail doesn't have mean anything to anything, then it's not going to be viewed. Now you might say, but Coach Sherri, I see a lot of larger channels and their thumbnails, they might, like, you see my thumb, like my picture right now, my image. Some people, that's all they do. They just keep that. That's all. Like, I know a channel, all her thumbnails is her picture, just like this, and she gets at least 3,000 to 4,000 views per video, and that's sometimes per live if she goes live. So I, you have to take it with a grain of salt. It's a catch 22. I'm just trying to figure out what the 22 is. But to your earlier point, you weren't trying your tactics. That that's how you know that work outside. I know. I know. And that's what I'm doing now. That's why I said double down on the search content, because that helps new people find you. I know. And I can't wait to put in that strategy. I'm trying to tell y'all, Slasher Chick right here. So she's doing a 90-day live channel. I mean, a live every day for 90 days. And the nuggets that she drops are sick. She's dropping evergreen information. So, Slasher Chick, your views are going to always increase on your videos, because your information is definitely timeless and is necessary, especially if a person is trying to grow, not just on YouTube, but just in business in general, be it a nonprofit or a for profit business. She definitely has a lot of skills when it comes to platforms, technology, and different types of resources that can help you grow your channel. Yes. Is that a commentary channel, vidIQ, or the person with the thing? Yeah, it is. It's a commentary channel. Yeah, it is. So that's what I have for y'all for today regarding social capital and social proof. So I am going to really concentrate on how to increase my social proof. And I guess it's proven to content, to not content creators, but to viewers that the proof is in the pudding that, my content is worth it, is worth giving it a shot, giving it a look. And once I get that up and going, then I'll concentrate on how to keep them engaged, because that's the other thing. It's, you want to keep them from leaving too soon from your content. Um so one thing at a time, but I do know Slasher Chick, what you shared yesterday is going to definitely help, especially with planning out content so that the scramble doesn't have to be so mental. It's there are resources out there that can help you with your content so that it's relevant, it's accurate. Your knowledge of it is going to make it accurate because you're putting in what you really know, and so you can tweak that. But I'm excited to share, to go on and do what you had suggested and do that for sure. Hmm. The one, yes, that's what I was saying. It is a commentary channel. It is. Hmm. All right, everyone. Well, it's been my pleasure being here with you today. And exactly, you add the special, yes. And and that special sauce, we all have that special sauce. We all have an assignment. We all have a gift that has been given to us by our higher power. My higher power is God. And the special sauce, it makes you unique. So that's why, I mean, I don't mind sharing information. You can do it, but it's going to be different than the way I did it because my sauce is different than yours. And again, there's room at the table for everyone. You just got to want to pull your chair up. Some people don't really want to pull their chair up. So thank you for that. Congrats. It is day 23. Oh my goodness. I probably haven't even done 23 lives in 15 years. So this has been remarkable. And I needed this consistency. This challenge is really, really a good challenge if you're trying to build your muscle memory. And that's what this is. Going live is a muscle memory. It's just like trying to shoot foul shots. In basketball, you have to do it over and over again before you become really good at it, before you're not really scared of walking up to the line because that's what you do. You want to make the shot because you make shots. And so going live like this, being comfortable just having a topic, maybe not having it all scripted out or anything necessarily, but having a topic and being able to elaborate on it for more than 5 or 10 minutes and just really engaging with the audience, which is in the chat. And I appreciate you all that have been here. I know Slasher Chick has been in the building, and I'm just going back. I see Emotion New Soul was here earlier. Alpha Jenkins, King Salute, and whoever else was here but just could not get to the chat. I appreciate your support. For those of you watching this on replay, thank you so much. And if you don't mind, after this recording, if you could go back to the replay and just put your nugget in the comment section, as well as what state are you tuning in from, or what part of the country, or the world that you are tuning in from. Are you coming from the US, Germany, Australia, Jamaica? I have people from all over according to my analytics. So what part of the world are you tuning in from? And what is your 1 to 2 nuggets that you have gotten from this information on social capital and social proof? All right, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. And until we speak again, I want you to stay safe and practice. Practice every single day because you just never know. You might have to take that game winning shot. And when you do, you need to make it. And the only way you're going to do that is play how you practice. So practice hard. All right, everyone. I am Coach Sherri. Thanks for tuning in.